Here, you'll find analysis, breaking news, stats, trivia, and the most epic moments from the NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, and so much more. From game-winning plays to the stories behind the sports, we've got content for everyone, from die-hard fans to those just starting to explore the world of American sports. Subscribe and join us in every video to experience the excitement, intensity, and adrenaline of sports the American way. Don't miss a second of the action.
Here's the slate this week. No international games. 4 teams on byes, including the red-hot Cards, who have won 4 straight. The week begins with a banger. Commanders at Eagles for first place in the NFC East.
Woo!
Oh, Pete, you gained a game last week on Kyle.
Rough week.
Really not much to phone home about.
If I go 6-9 the rest of the year and gain a game or 2 every week, I'd be happy with it.
We're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
We took new pictures like a month ago, and we're still using your pre-Ozempic pick up there.
I don't
What's
know
going
what
on?
that is. I don't know what that is.
You're handsome, dude.
Kyle missed his best bet finally.
Yeah, well, it was a half a point. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, none of which were his fault.
Bad
He
beat.
texted me in the middle of the game.
This is a nightmare.
rotten. This is awful.
First drive, Penei Sewell gets spun move by Daniil Hunter. I said, this is a nightmare.
But the thing that went rotten in the game is you lost the game, but when I said they would win the game,
Yep.
and the clip went out and people were giving you crap on Twitter about it.
They were killing me.
Yeah,
but, you know.
Welcome to
Lions
my
win.
world. Welcome to
Lions
my
win.
world.
Let's get things started here. Chris Hassel with Kyle Long and Pete Prisco. Thursday night football kicks off what should be really the best week of matchups all season in the NFL. It's the Commanders at the Eagles. It's a battle for first place in the NFC East. You know, Kyle, the Commanders coming off that heartbreaking loss to the Steelers. How much more difficult does it make it that you only have a couple days here to get ready for the red-hot Eagles?
Yeah, and not only that, this Eagles team has heard about the Commanders all year long. It's all they've heard about. We've got the best quarterback. We've got the best team in the NFC East. Well, you get an opportunity to go prove that at the Link on Thursday night, and I think this Eagles team is going to come out with their clenched fist, and they're just going to be physical. It's going to be a violent game at the line of scrimmage, and I anticipate the star power in Philadelphia to be too much for this Commanders team.
Well, the score is already 4-0 Commanders, so they're playing from behind because anytime you play Nick Sirianni, you start with 4 points ahead because he'll go for 2, not go for 2, decide to not kick a field goal.
Yell at a fan.
But
they're winning. They're 5 straight.
But despite that, I think the Eagles are the better team. I think they're going to be more physical. The one thing you'll know, it's a primetime game, so you know who's showing up. And when he shows up, he's as good as anybody in the league is Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter can be dominant, and I think he can wreck an offense. I think this is a game for him. The secondary's playing better. I think this is a chance for the Eagles to really get going and take a firm grasp of this division. I think they win the game.
Jalen Carter, coupled with the coverage on the back end and those young players who
Mitchell
are just playing cocky right now. They're a cocky bunch.
Playing well. They're well. They
That
can
spells
run.
a little bit of disaster for the Commanders.
Yep.
Okay, so you're both going with Eagles
Yep.
-3 to start the week.
Consider our record last week, everybody take Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Let's go to Sunday Night Football as we pick the primetime games first. It's Bengals at Chargers, and you know the statistics will point you in the direction of that Chargers defense. They've won 3 straight, but Justin Herbert, Pete, 7 straight games without a pick.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the style of offense that they're playing, but he is throwing it more than I thought he would. And again, kudos to that offensive staff for what they do. And your buddy Mark Trestman's a passing game guy there. Greg Roman, who's a heavy run game guy, but they've kind of mixed it in and done a nice job with it. This is a good team. This is a real challenge for that defense. #1 ranked defense in the league, but they haven't played really any good offenses. They across the board, the Chiefs they played early in the season, that offense wasn't very good. This is a real challenge for that offense. Having said all that, I think the Chargers will find a way. I think they're the better team, better all-around team. They have the defense.
Yeah, that Chargers defense is awesome. When I think about the Bengals, a lot of their offensive stuff is predicated on Joe Burrow having time to throw the football. I like the edge rushers for the Los Angeles Chargers. I also love the offense. You talked about Mark Trestman. They have an identity. There's not a lot of teams in the National Football League with a real identity. The Chargers have one. They can kick your ass between the tackles, and when it comes to getting Justin Herbert on the move outside the pocket, he's become a dual threat guy. In the red area on 3rd down, you have to account for him in the running game. I like Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
They still have not allowed a team to score more than 20 points. Does
They
it
haven't
happen
played
this
any
week?
good offenses yet.
Will the Bengals get to 20?
Yes.
They'll get to 20. but the Chargers still.
It'll be
the total tells you that they will.
Yeah.
31 Chargers.
31,
Chargers 31-28. Okay, that's the pick.
Because
And
Bengals aren't very good on defense.
And we'll cover.
Let's go to Monday Night Football.
This is where it gets interesting.
At least it's at night and the sun's not coming in to the stadium. But the Cowboys are getting 7.5 at home. Dak Prescott having season-ending surgery this week.
Yeah, and the quarterback Cooper Rush was terrible last week. There's no sugarcoating.
You go to Lance?
I would mix in some
why
plays
not?
for Lance, or let him maybe play him. At least he can run.
What do you
with
have
it.
to lose? They're
They
out
have
of it.
nothing to lose, and I think that's why they're going to cover this number. I'm taking the 7.5. I just think that the number's too high. The Texans haven't really looked that great either, and I think this is an opportunity for whoever plays quarterback to hang around. And you know, one thing that they can do when Parsons is on the field, they can rush the passer. And so I think they'll be able to rush the passer a little bit, maybe get a turnover or two, keep it within a number. They're not winning the game, and I'm probably crazy here for taking the Cowboys, but I'm taking the 7.5. The number's too bloated.
Not a conference game, not a division game, but a Lone Star State bragging right game. I'm going to give the Houston Texans the edge in this one. I just love the quarterback position in Houston. C.J. Stroud showed me in the first half of last game that he is still one of the elites at the quarterback position, and with everything going on with Dallas, I can't in good faith put the Cowboys bet in.
Which city's better?
You tell me.
They're different.
They are different.
Lot different.
I like both of them, actually.
You know what? I had a thought about the Cowboys, though. With all the sun issues they've had, why don't next year they just go get the guy? How do you fight the sun? With the moon. Get the moon ball. Bring Russell Wilson back. He'll throw it above the windows. It'll come down.
Or maybe put a giant curtain up.
That would work.
Yeah, he would hit the, like the punters do, he'd hit the scoreboard.
They hit that. Remember they hit that back in the day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Already, Shane Waldron from the Bears, their offensive coordinator, no longer his services are needed. Is this a surprise to you at all, or could you just see this coming?
No, we knew Sunday night that it was a matter of time. And I think that me, you, and Brandon were on here talking Monday morning, Zach, that Shane Waldron had called his final play for the Chicago Bears. It was a matter of, are you going to fire Shane Waldron? Are you going to demote him? We've seen that a little bit, right? Nathaniel Hackett with the New York Jets, where he's still on the team, right, with the coaching staff, but he's not calling plays anymore. Todd Downing is. We saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles at defensive coordinator, where Sean Desai was the defensive coordinator, but then Matt Patricia was then calling the defense. So this is what we know now and today. Shane Waldron out as the offensive coordinator. He was one of the first OC hires of the cycle. He had familiarity with Caleb Williams, who, remember, mid-January, we knew the Bears were going to have the #1 overall pick from the Carolina Panthers. We knew that they were going to go with Caleb Williams, and so that was sort of the matchup. That was what was always being prepared for in Chicago. Now, look at where you are, where through the first 3 weeks of the season, they had one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Then they had a pretty nice 3-game stretch. And now the last 3 games, they've had one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Shane Waldron, one could say that he is being scapegoated for this. You can make the argument that the problems and issues with the Chicago Bears offense specifically is sort of a chicken and the egg. You can look at the offensive line. You can look at Caleb Williams holding on to the football, maybe lacking a little bit of confidence. You can look at the pass game concepts and say, who's open? I've heard it from a number of people across the league who are trying to identify, well, hey, was it Shane Waldron? Is it Caleb Williams? Is it the offensive line? Is it the front office? Is it all these things? Is it the head coach, Matt Eberflus? I understand all of those questions, but after what you have seen the last couple of weeks, after you have not scored an offensive touchdown in 23 consecutive drives, when you hand the football off to the center at the goal line, all of those things, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. And so the Bears had constructed their offensive staff to withstand or withhold one of these changes. Now Thomas Brown, who is the offensive pass game coordinator, who had previously been with the Carolina Panthers in 2023 and that disaster of a season, that surely wasn't his fault. It was a collection of people's faults, almost to a comedic degree. He now takes over as interim offensive coordinator. He's been in that building. We'll see if it can provide a spark for Caleb Williams, who head coach Matt Eberflus said, we're not making any changes there. He's our starter.
Yeah, Williams has been good at times, not so good at others. So we'll see if someone else maybe in his ear making the play calls might be able to help out a little bit. Jonathan Jones, our lead NFL insider, thank you so much for the time always.